What's good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back for episode 3 of the climb to 1000 DB rating. As you can see, we're at 744. I think we were at around 700th for our rating on the last time. 700 in total ranking. Our actual rating was like 638, 334, somewhere around there. We're about 110 points up, so it's time for another installment. So we moved up quite a bit, 423rd on the site, so pretty good. If we go to the rankings, total rankings, we see that first is still about 1700, and then the gap has closed a bit. I think it was down to like 10th place was already where 1200 started, and now it's a bit more at 14 stably, and not nearly as big of a gap in between. And if we look at where 1000 is currently, 1000 is 89th place. So for sticking on the schedule about every 3 days, 2 to 3 days when I actually have time to play, getting to another 100 rating, we should maybe be able to break the top 100 by the time we reach 1000. If we don't, I might extend the series just to try to get to top 100 in rating. Might be a little fun thing to do. So 200th is 854, so we're not too far off. I would say by episode 5, 5, we should be well within the 200 range. All right, if we go look at the deck, it's pretty similar still. We put in Fuko into the side. I also stole the set rotation tech from the other Mimighoul player that I played against. I think it's actually really good. It can take out a lot of the power field spells, like the Snake Eyes field spell. Just gets rid of another interaction. And if they want to keep it, they need to use like Desiree to negate, or the Azamina fusion. But otherwise, the deck's pretty much the same. We added the Race Off field spell and the Fenrir. Had to put in a field spell for set rotation, and this is actually just good because I felt like I wasn't seeing the cash engine nearly as much as I wanted to. Other than that, I put nibs in the side over drolls. I was saying last video I wanted something to really punish people for taking the challenge with Furos, and that's what it's going to need to be. A droll doesn't work with it because you're just going to turn off your draws, and by the time you probably see it, it's probably already too late. Whereas nib, as long as you see it and they don't have a negate up, or you see it with a imperm, it'll be pretty good no matter what. Most boards don't get to their double negate until a little bit towards the end. And if they're going for the kill push, you can usually get away with holding this because they might not go for the negates because they don't expect you to have the nib. Other than that, the side's all the same. I was going to put in the F0 package, but I just decided against it. I think it can be good. You're just giving up your throne bounce, which some games it would come up in, where I want to link off the master and another body for like an SP to break a board, and then I could go into the F0 with the throne and the giant that are still up. It's just something to consider. I'm just not sure why I really want to cut. Like I cut the unicorn for the Fuko already, because I just wasn't going into it very often. I could have cut the Underworld to put both of the F-Zeros, the little one, and then the big one that you rank into, that's the Monster Negate. If no one knows what I'm talking about, I'll just pull it up. So it's these two. You go into the Utopic Future first. It just takes 2 of the same rank that are not monsters, not number monsters. And then you can overlay the F-Zero for F-Zero Utopic Draco Future. It's actually a really good boss monster. It steals a monster that you negate if it's on field, and it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So it's actually just really decent. Staying power. The only thing that I would dislike about it is it's still going to lose to a lot of the same stuff. Like Tempai is actually becoming more of a problem. The players that I'm facing against are actually being smarter about how they're playing and outing the dungeon. And if they have an Ash for the room, I can't put them under the normal summon lock. So it's a little bit more difficult. And I'm getting hit with both March Armories and the Dominus Impulse, which really hurts. But yeah, that's everything different with the deck. Let's get into the duels. So our first duel against Alina Gray. They're at 739. Oh, it does tell you your rating. I was at 683 at this point. So it's going to get into that. So we lose the die roll here. He's going to choose to make me go second and go first. Our hand was kind of nuts. I mean, we have a Devil Ferocious, which is going to stop a lot of decks. The only thing that's probably isn't going to stop is like Centurion or the Birds, Flu. But we see we're against Rescue Ace with the Zamina cards. So wouldn't be the best thing against them. I feel like they could do their full Rescue Ace combo with only giving me like 2 draws. But he's going to start with the Hollowed to summon out the Omni Negate. I'm going to drop the first Melcharmy, then he's going to chain the Wanted. Really good thing to do here if you are playing this engine, because it doesn't matter where you send your Sinful Spoil card from. So if you have the Wanted, you want to activate that as Chainlink 2 so that you get a free send and get the Diabell. And I was just thinking about it. And then I asked if he was resolving. And just showing me. But he's just going to activate the Wanted, and then I'm going to chain the second Furos. At this point, so we get double draws. That would have been a real punish if he had the Called By. I would have got rid of both of them. So he's going to add the Witch, and then summon out the Omni. We're going to get 2 draws off of that. Draw into Room and Shifter. So 1 dead draw, not what you really want to see. But Room is partial engine, so that's good. And then he's going to send off the OSS for the Diabell special summon. Use the effect. It's good. He already went through both of the, the main one you'd add, and he's already gotten to the Omni Negate, so he doesn't need to get the Deception, so he's going to grab a 1-in for follow-up. Yep. And he's going to 1-in to get the draw, put back the OSS. Draw into an Ash Blossom, so good for him. Another non-engine. Might be able to stop me. We draw into triple tax, so we don't have any access to the Mimighoul engine on our turn. But we'll get into it on our opponent's turn, if we can get rid of the Ash. But right now, all we have is a Unicorn. So we're going to special the Cashier Unicorn. I choose to go to battle here. I probably should have just used the effect to search in the main phase and see if he wanted to negate it. But if he was, it was probably going to be with the Imperm. So this talent is probably never going to be alive. We're just going to go beat over the Omni. See if it makes him activate anything. In main phase 2, we're going to go for the search. Get the Birth. And then just got to think about it. We're going to activate the Birth because I know that he has the Wanted set right now. And if he activates that to search, I can get rid of all 3 of these. And I don't know what this is yet. But since I know he is on a bunch of the Sinful stuff, at this point he hasn't shown me any Rescue Ace cards yet. So I'm assuming that he's going to activate a lot of spells. So putting this up is going to be worth it, even though it could get hit with like a back row removal. And then we're going to set the Room and just pass. He's going to draw into Alert. And he's going to use the Hollowed Azumina. I really need to learn what these cards actually are called. Put back to add it back to hand. He's going to activate it, chain the Wanted, grab the Witch back out, and then he's going to go for the Silva again. And then he's going to send the Witch for Witch, get the effect, set the OSS, And then we're going to use the unicorn because I want to try to bait the Sylvie so that my Ash is going to be able to resolve on this. And I just take his princess out of the extra deck. And he's going to OSS. We're going to chain the Ash, hoping that maybe he'll just let it go through. What I could have done was just, on resolution, use the room to try and set this. And then get some follow-up by summoning a dragon to our side. But he had the Ash, so that would not have worked. He's going to summon out Hydrant. And then in res, we're going to use the Birth. We're going to take out the OSS, the Azamina, Hollowed, and the Sylvie. I'm going to assume that this is probably not going to be able to get a draw, and these are the only two targets for this at this point. Alright, so he's going to let that go through. I mean, he doesn't really have a choice. Get rid of that. And then, thinking on res, I'm going to try to room to Book of Moon this, so he doesn't get access to the engine. But he has the Ash, so that's unfortunate. And now we've gone through all of our interruptions, so now I just have to let him play. But he doesn't know these 3 cards in hand, so he's probably going to have to play around that a little bit. So he's going to summon out the Airlifter, go for Fire Engine, special out, search for the HQ, use the Alert, grab the Turbulence, and then he needs to link off from here. So he's going to link off for the Anima, and then link off for the Hida. I'm not too sure why I went into Anima first. He might have been thinking about just going for SP. But he's going to take the Ash Blossom from us, then use the Turbulence, banishing 2 of the Rescue Aces, and then use the effect to set. I got nothing to stop it. So from this point, it's going to be a lot harder for me to stay in the game through the vast amount of back row he's going to put up. Makes a weird play here. He decides to go for Underworld Goddess, linking off the Unicorn. He doesn't have access to the... where is he at? He doesn't have access to Hydra right now, so he can't activate any of these cards he set. So, luckily we get a live for the turn. We'll take 6k. And then he doesn't have anything else, so he's just gonna pass. He could have activated HQ to draw 1 more, but that's not gonna do much, and it's actually just gonna hurt his follow-up if he does that. So we're gonna draw, we're gonna get Dungeon, so finally access to the engine. We're gonna start with the Birth first, trying to bait out this negate so that our Talons is live. And then I thought it got destroyed. Then I'm gonna Talons to take. Turbulence is the only thing you can take. Underworld would be unaffected by cards that don't target it. I decided to take rather than draw, because it's going to force him to use his, where is it at? His Rescue to special back one of the Rescue Aces, or the Emergency to special and tribute, just to get a Rescue Ace on board, so that his Reinforce is live and his Extinguish would be live. So now he's got to burn a card that he doesn't necessarily, that he would have been able to use as Interruption, rather. So we're going to activate the Dungeon. Dungeon's going to grab the Dragon. Then we're going to Dragon. And he asked if that was a normal summon. He's going to use Imperm, then we're going to chain the Room to bounce it back. So we're going to dodge the Imperm, we're going to grab the Maker. Ask for anything on res, nothing on res. Activate the Maker. What I should have done, actually, was activate the Maker in this column. Because the Imperm didn't negate anything, the zone's not going to be negated. So if he did have anything that he wanted to use to negate this, he might not have activated it if he was originally thinking that the zone was going to negate it. So that might have been something to play around with. Then he's going to use Rescue, special back out the Fire Engine. I just got to think about what I want to do. We already went through the Dragon effect. Why did I special Fairy? Oh, I know why I did it like this. So the reason I did it like this was because Fairy and Archfiend are going to guarantee that I get a 2 level 1s on my side of the field no matter what. What's his name? Slime? Slime would have done the same thing. Because he would have had 3 and I would have had 2. So even if I got the Archfiend on his side and the Slime on my side, I could have specialed the dragon and then specialed the Slime after that. So that would have been smarter because then the upside would have been a lot better if I had hit like I did here. So I'm going to special out the Archfiend effect, Chainlink 1 to flip, and then Chainlink 2 he's going to use the Fire Engine to special out. So he's going to get the Airlifter, then the Fairy's going to resolve, and then Chainlink 1 Fairy, Chainlink 2 the Airlifter. I'm just going to let that go. I know he has Emergency set off of the Turbulence, so I'm going to save the Ash for that. So we're going to get the Fairy. And then here he's going to use the Extinguish to pop one of our guys. Gets rid of our Archfiend. So now we don't have a rank 1 play anymore. So instead we're going to just go Anima, take the Underworld. And then the next play from here would have just been SP. But we're going to want to take out both of these, so we're going to try to go battle first. Anima attack in, 3k, over 17. And then he's going to chain the Reinforce, which will give it a 1500 boost to the defense and attack. So it's going to be at 32, and I'll take 200 damage, which kind of sucks for me. And it's also unaffected by monster effects, so I can't SP this. Attack over the Fire Engine, he's going to use Emergency. I'm just going to do the Ash here. Beat over that. I don't have anything I really need to go into. I can't clear this with the SP anymore, because it's unaffected by monster effects. And if you look in his graveyard, he doesn't really have anything worth banishing. Because I'm fairly certain that this 1-ed is not going to be alive anymore. And if I banish anything of his names, he can just HQ it back. But I don't want to give this back, so we're just going to go into SP anyways. I choose to just banish the Reinforce to force it out. So he's going to chain that, he's going to set the Rescue again. And then I'm going to Dragon Effect special to their side. So this is going to force him to not be able to normal summon. But I know he has the Rescue, so he can just play without it. But if he doesn't know what Maker does, I can get him in an awkward spot where I can just blow up his entire board. So I'm going to end the turn there. He draws into Durasworm. Then he's just going to tribute over the dragon to summon the Durasworm. He has to set it though, because you can't normal summon. You can only set under the dungeon. So I'm glad that that wasn't a problem for me anymore. He could have specialed it if he wanted to, but now I don't got to worry about this just being able to get a free SP activation out of me. He's going to activate the Rescue. He's going to put back a couple of the names. I choose to do a lot of the monsters. He might only be on the one Hydrant. I'm not too sure why he did it like that, because I think he could have used the Emergency, summon out Preventer, tribute the Preventer, and then summon out the Hydrant again, if you wanted to get back to the engine that way. So I think it would have been smarter to put back the spells and traps, so that they'd be able to get set off the Turbulence. But he puts back the Emergency and the, I think Rescue was the other spell he put back. He draws into the Deception. I'm not worried about that at all. I know that his Hollow is already banished face down off the Birth, and if he plays the other one, then that's on me. But I would assume that most people are not on to the fusion spells. So he's going to activate Rescue, bring back out the Turbulence. He's going to think about it. He's going to use the effect. I'm not going to chain the SP because I know the last card in hand is Emergency. So whatever I target is just going to get tributed off. And the SP is going to stay there no matter what. So I'd rather just keep it up for the extra force ability to make him play around it, I suppose would be the best way. And I know that I can't get beat over by anything other than the Airlifter at this point. because the Turbulence will special summon this turn and he has a set card. So if he flips the Airlifter, he can beat over it, but I know I'm not going to die. Alright, so he's going to use the Emergency, special out the Hydrant, tribute off the Airlifter, so now I know that he's not going to be able to beat over SP unless he wants to use a bunch of Link monsters. He's going to Hydrant, bring back the Preventer from deck, use the effect banishing the Airlifter, special that out. He's going to link off. I was just asking what set. He's going to link up for the Moon of the Closed Heavens. I've already used Unicorn to look at his extra deck at this point, so I know he's not on the Fiendsmith stuff. It's just there because he also plays the Underworld, and you can get 2 monsters off of your Underworld play. That's the Preventor's going to trigger, summon back out the Airlifter. Still feeling good. Airlifter effect to search, but he has no more targets. He's going to use the emergency effect to grab the trap. He has to think about it. And now he's going to go for an SP. He's going to SP the dungeon. I'm going to chain my own SP. I just want to get it out of the zone right now. And now that the dungeon's going to be gone, he can attack into my SP. So I really want to try to keep that alive. And also prevent him from having bodies for a Link play after this. So now he just has Hydrant, and he can activate one of these side cards. But I know he set the Emergency and the Reinforce. Emergency was already used this turn. And the Extinguish has to target an effect monster and destroy it. So he could have just destroyed my SP if he wanted to there. And the Reinforce doesn't do anything. It's just going to make the Hydra unaffected. Right now. So end phase, the SPs are going to resolve. And then he's going to use the Extinguish to blow up the SP now. Not sure why I didn't just do it right away. I guess it would have been the same result either way. He wouldn't have been able to attack directly with the SP because he used the banish effect, so wouldn't have mattered too much. We draw in a dungeon though, so that's really good. Now we have the Unicorn play and the dungeon, so now we have a little added pressure. So we're going to Birth bring back the Unicorn. I'm going to choose to go straight to battle, beat over the SP before it can do some shenanigans. Beat over that. Go to main 2, activate the dungeon. He has to think about what he wants to do. The emergency shouldn't do anything. I don't think any of these guys are just a random pop. He can interact with like my monsters with like Preventer, Book of Moon, and stuff like that. But currently I'm not too worried. So we're going to use the effect. We're going to grab the dragon from the graveyard. I want to keep as many of the live draws in deck as possible, because at this point we are kind of in a grind game. Normal summon, use the effect. Grab the Maker. Use the Maker effect. We're going to do Archfiend and Slime here. We don't hit the 50, sadly. Special out the Slime. So we need to be able to make a rank 1 play. And then I had to reread the Hydra. Overlay for the Giant Mimighoul. He has 2 set cards at this point, so I'm going to be able to get a lot of value out of this. I just put it in defense because if he outs the dungeon again, I'm only on 1800. And I'd rather not have a 1300 just sitting in deck. So effective search on summon. We're going to grab the room. And then we're going to detach and we're going to target the field spell and the hydrant. This is probably going to force the reinforce or the emergency, one of the two. We can use the reinforce to protect it. Still blow up the HQ. I mean, I think it should. I never checked the wording on this. Detach from its card, target face-up cards in the field to the number of face-down monster opponent controls, destroy them. I think it still pops. I don't know, the wording on that is so confusing. For those style of cards. And then I just go end phase. After setting the room, he's going to reinforce in the end phase. Reset the field spell so he can recycle all his stuff again. I draw onto a hydrant. so not too good of a draw for him. He already has access to the Hydrant. He's going to grab the Preventer. And then I'm going to Unicorn right from the extra deck again, take out the Phoenix. So when I looked at the extra deck, the only thing in there that could threaten the field spell at this point was Phoenix and Access Code. So I just took out the easiest one to access. I'm just going to flip over the Druid Swarm, link off that in the Hydrant for a Dahark. Looking at extra, not the extra, the graveyard, we have Anima and SP as dark targets. So he's going to Druid Swarm. He chooses to take out the Giant. I'm not too sure why he wanted to take out that over something else, like the Unicorn, to make sure the Birth wasn't going to be able to banish stuff face down. And he's going to Dark Effect, take the SP. Oh, that's fine. Here he could have just went for Access Code and won there. So what I actually should have done was activate the room here and set a dragon on his side of the field, and then Maker in the resolution. He's going to have to use both of these with the SP if he doesn't want to lose anything. And then that'll stop his plays there. But then he'll be able to just flip this up and be able to play with the Preventer. So I didn't really want to do that there. I wanted to make him commit a little bit more. Maybe he makes a mistake. So he's going to use the Preventer here. And here is when I choose to use the Room effect, because now he's committed a bit more. This still wouldn't have done too much, because he would have gotten the Turbulence special back out off the Preventer effect when it went to grave. But we would have been in a little bit better position. So we're going to summon out the Dragon. I'm not going to flip anything, summon that out. And then I thought about it, and I realized that if this goes to grave, he still is going to be able to special that out the Turbulence, and then put back 3 spells, traps, reset them, and I'm just in a really bad position again. So I just decided I'm going to have to rely on him to play a little bit more and just make a mistake again. But he's just going to link everything off for the Access Code Talker. Access Code effect, targeting the Dark. And then he uses Preventer effect. So I actually could have activated the Maker here. Flip this up, destroy this on resolution. Or I could have just done it here. But for some odd reason I just didn't. So misplay on me. And then Access Code effect's just going to blow up my whole field. And we're going to get hit in the face for lethal. Whereas this all should have gotten popped. And then he would have had to draw one and emergency. And then maybe he could have been able to play a little bit more. But he would have had to flip over the Archfiend and given me a draw. Which he probably would have just discarded the Hydrant. So we'll never really know how this would have went if I had actually been paying more attention. So on to game 2, we're going to choose to go first. Opening hand, we have Curse Curse, Dungeon, Imperm. So drawing a lot of doubles in this match. He draws for turn, Impulse, Hydrant, Reinforce, Impulse again, and Droll. So really good hand traps in Impulse and Droll. But our only play is to activate the Dungeon effect. We're going to grab Dragon, so we want to search the Maker off of that and be able to actually play. But he hits us with the Droll, so that really sucks for us. We're going to set both the Imperms, activate both the Summoning Curses, and then try to put the Dragon over there and make him discard 2, or banish 2. And then he'll only have 2 in hand, plus whatever he draws per turn, and we have double Imperm, which should hopefully be enough. But he's going to drop the Impulse there, which really sucks for us. Now we just have 2 Imperms against the world. And I guess every time he special summons, we can rip 2. So we're going to pay 1,000 for those in the end phase. And then he's going to draw an Impulse for turn. He's going to normal summon the Hydrant effect. We're just going to Imperm that. At this point, we're just going to need to hope he doesn't have anything. And he's going to set the Impulse and the Reinforce. I'm not too sure why he set the other Impulse. Probably because he knows if I draw anything, I can just special. But he's going to activate that anyways. So he's going to go to end phase. We're going to draw a fairy. So now we have access to a rank 1 play, no matter what. So we're going to normal summon the dragon effect, grab the room. The reason I grabbed room instead was because I was thinking this might be another droll. And I could play with the fairy and end on the room as interruption still. Like I can still do some plays and end on more interruption if I grab room first. And if I don't get droll, I can special the fairy effect, not fairy effect, overlay for giant grab the maker, and we'll be in the same spot, but this plays around the droll a little bit better. So I set the room there because I'm going to special the fairy. I don't want it to get discarded. He's going to impulse here. This time it's going to get destroyed by having another trap engrave. So now I'm going to use the dungeon, grab out the Archfiend. That's why I like having Archfiend. When your one extender gets taken out, you still have access to another one. A little more situational, but still nice to have. Special out the dungeon, affects the curses. I try not to activate these when I have nothing in hand, or my opponent has nothing in hand, because it's just a lot of clicking. We're going to go for the throne. If we go for maker here, not maker, if we go for giant search, we're going to lose it off of the curses, so no point in doing that. So we're just going to go for the throne, grab out the master, no effect, because we're going to lose whatever we add again. He's going to impulse though. Let me activate that. Bring out the preventer. And we bring out the dungeon. So Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, curses. Actually, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Chainlink 3, Chainlink 4, curse. 2 for us, 2 for them. Neither of us have anything in hand. I go end phase, because you can't attack the Hydra when he has another card on field, another rescue ace on field, and it's not gaining anything from either of these. So there's nothing I can really do. I suppose... No, Imperm's not going to do anything, because I can't target this with card effects either. Go to end phase, we're just going to pay the 1,000. He's going to prevent her to book a moon. He goes for a throne, which was not the correct play, because Master can flip over cards in your own field, so I can just flip that up in main phase and force him to use this again. So he's going to start with the Hydrant. Hydrant's going to grab the Airlifter. And now he has 2 cards in hand, so I'm going to chain the room on resolution here. And we're going to special the dragon on the other side of the field. And then the summon card, and we're going to book a moon the preventer, so we can't book a moon my master before we can get there. So curse. He's going to chain the emergency here. And then I'm going to chain the master to flip over the throne. I don't want to get rid of the preventer just yet. I mean, I could have. There's really just no point. Because I didn't know what he was going to bring out yet. So he's going to summon out the Turbulence and then just tribute the Airlifter in hand. He's going to lose it anyways. Yep. New chain, the curses are going to activate again. And then I'm going to chain the throne, because I want to throne, put the Turbulence back, and make him banish that. Which wouldn't have done too much, because you could just flip the preventer, and then preventer, bring back the Turbulence. But he doesn't even know what our plan was. I don't have a maker engrave either for the dragon, but we do have the Imperm set to get rid of this anyways. So he's going to reinforce the Turbulence to make it unaffected by the monster effects. Yep, so we're going to use that, and we're going to put the preventer back, so now we won't have access to the recursion off of this without getting to the field spell. I'm just telling me he needs to banish that still. Yep. New chain is going to activate the Turbulence to set everything. We're just going to imprint that right away. Yep. We already can't activate... he can't activate Earth effects, so we can't use any of the Mimighoul effects. So it's kind of a... We're not going to be able to win if he sets all these cards. I need him to have as many bricks in deck as possible. So he's going to go for Anima with the Hydrant, and then go for an SP. SP, he's going to take out the Dungeon. So now we don't have follow-up. We can still just beat over the SP, and then he's on no cards. So we're going to draw. We're going to draw on a Maker, so really good draw. We're just going to go straight to battle. Beat over the SP before we activate anything, and we lose the Throne forever. I mean, we can add it back off the field spell, but it's just not something you typically want to summon later in the duel. And then we're going to Maker. I can't get any effects trigger on his side of the field, but I really want to get to Dragon so I can get the Dungeon follow-up. So I just took the 50-50 chance. If I don't hit it, then there's no point. There's no point keeping it, really. If anything else, it's just another level 1 in my hand for later. And then I special out the Dragon. I should not have specialed this out, because Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 is going to be Curse. Well, Chainlink 1 through 4 is going to be Curse for both of us. And then Dragon would be Chainlink 5, and I would add and then discard. So I should have just not special summoned, because now I'm going to have to waste the room effect in my graveyard to put back the Dragon so I can normal summon it. Yep, normal summon the Dragon, now we can get the effect. Grab the Dungeon effect. I had to think about what I wanted. I choose to grab Fairy here, because I don't want to end on nothing for interruptions, because he's not going to be able to use any of these effects. So the Maker won't be an interruption. So instead I'm just going to choose to go for an IP, because if I really need to, I can go into SP to interrupt. If he starts with a normal summon of Hydrant. Let's go end phase. He's going to use the Reinforce to reset one of his spells or traps. Grabs the Emergency. But we already took out the Preventer, so we need something to tribute so that he can get the effect on field. Otherwise, nothing really does anything. But he draws into Super Poly, which doesn't do too much. Garua is same type and attribute, and Mud Dragon is same. We're gonna look it up. I can't remember if it's the same attribute but different types, or the same type but different attributes. Mud. Same attribute but different types. So if he is on the Mud Dragon, he does have the ability to use this in a later turn. He's going to flip those up. He can use them as link material now. He just goes for the Phoenix instead, choosing to try to get rid of the Dungeon. Yep. Discards are cost though, so these aren't going to do anything. So he's going to get rid of those. I just go battle. I could have went IP Banish, but at this point I just wanted to keep the big body. Yep. So he's just going to beat over. Let's take the damage. Guarantees that I live. I draw into Shifter, so dead draw. So we're just going to go battle, beat over. Yep, he's going to take the damage. I just go end phase, nothing I can do. I don't have a room engrave anymore, so I can't bounce this back to get another search. I'm just going to take another 1,000. He's going to draw into Deception. Doesn't have any monsters, so that's good for us. Doesn't choose to set it, which is a little odd, so I feel like I could just special summon and rip your card in hand. I draw into Maker. Thought about it. Decided not to use it. We're already through all of our dragons, so nothing that we special summon is going to get us any advantage. So I'm actually just going to choose to set it as a bluff. And also, if I choose to special summon at some point, I don't want to lose both of my cards. He draws for turn, he gets another Deception, so 2 dead cards in hand. Just has to pass. I draw Unicorn for turn, really good. Again, the Maker's not going to get us anything, and it's not going to do more damage, it's actually going to do less damage. So we're just going to attack again. And then he has 2 cards in hand right now, so I'm going to make her on main phase 2, because I want to rip both his cards. We end up giving him this Lime. I think I picked 2 cards that have the lowest defense, so that if I need to beat over them, I can. We're not going to special summon, because we don't want to give up the hand knowledge. I get rid of all those. End phase, I'm going to choose to give up one of the summoning curses. He's going to be on 1 card. There's no point taking the full 1,000 damage at this point, because the game feels like it's pretty darn close to being over. He draws into Droll, so he does have access to a Link play if he really wants it. But he chooses to keep it. We draw into Birth, which is really good for us, because now we can activate the Birth and normal summon the Unicorn in hand, which is going to give us lethal. Yep, so he has to give up that one. So, on to game 3. The reason I did this one was because I wanted everyone kept asking about the Impulse and how it kills the deck. You can still grind out an opponent just with your regular stuff, and just hopefully it's enough. You lose like 90% of your power of the deck, but there's still a chance you can win. It's just gonna be very difficult. You need a lot of things to go your way. But game 3, opening hands, we got Dragon, Imperm, Maker, Dragon, Duster. Again, seeing a 2 of them in my hand. But I see the Duster, which is really nice. It's going to be able to get rid of all the back row. But he sees Impulse again, which really sucks for us. Again, it's going to turn off everything. Witch, Fire Engine, Deception, and the HQ. So a really strong hand from him. So he's going to grab the Witch. Witch effect, he's going to grab the OSS. Good. Activate the Deception here. Deception effect, just going to send off the Fire Engine, grabbing the Hollow. It's good. Hollow effect, bring out the Negate. It's really sad, because the one Imperm would have done a lot if this Deception was just something different. Because then he wouldn't be able to get to both the Deception and the Sinful Spoils, and the Negate. So the Imperm would have actually been enough to stop him. But he's going to activate the effect, summon out the Hydrant. I could use the Imperm just to bait this, but there's really no point. I can just use the Imperm on my turn. And that way, if the last card in hand is another Sinful Spoil card, like if you open double Deception, then he won't be able to get to the Negate again, and have me have nothing I can do about it. So he's going to go for the Hydrant. Hydrant grab the Airlifter. Yep. Use the normal summon on the Airlifter. Airlifter effect, grab the Emergency. I just don't keep going at this point. I'm not going to negate anything. Emergency, bring out the Turbulence. Turbulence effect. He's going to set the 4 that you would standardly set. Yep. Actually, did he? He didn't set another Emergency. So he went for both the Rescue and the Alert instead. Which one of these is not the normal one? I think it's the Alert? Or control, you can... Yeah, I think typically you don't set the Alert for the interruption play. Yeah, you use it for continuing. But he doesn't really have much going for him right now for Engine on field, so he just kind of need to use that as extension. He's going to grab the Preventer. Preventer going to banish the Airlifter, summon out, link off those 3. For the Fire Princess, Preventer is going to special back out the Airlifter. And now the Princess is going to bring back out the Hydrant. Link off again. Go for the Salad. Salad link 4. And then just pass from there. So he has a Pop and Special with the Promethean Princess. Doesn't have a draw setup. He does have access. Well, I haven't seen him on any of the Snake Eye cards other than the OSS. So I don't think the OS is going to get him anything. Because I think it has to add a Snake Eyes. No, it can add any level 1. So we could add a Hydra Octopus in a later turn. So we're fighting through a Pop 1, a Untargetable, Indestructible, Hydrant, a Monster Pop, and a Widow Anchor. Not a Widow Anchor. What's the Shark Cannon? So not bad. So we're going to draw into Fairy. So now we have an extension play if miraculously Dragon and Maker get stopped. So we're just going to start in main phase with the Imprim. And then use the Jester, just clear all the back row, force him to use it all. He's going to alert, bring back out the Preventer. And then he's going to use the Reinforce to make the Hydrant unaffected by monster effects. Fine by me. And I'm going to use the Dragon effect as special. Because I'm going to use Maker as my first action. Is my idea. And then Maker is going to search for either a Archfiend or Slime. That way I can blow up his entire field with the Dragon. And then it kind of defeats... it defeats everything, actually. There's nothing in Banish for Preventer to add back. When I summon, it'd be Chainlink 1 the Archfiend to flip the Dragon, Chainlink 2 Promethean, pop the Archfiend and whatever, and then on a new Chain Dragon's just going to blow up the whole board, and then it's just the one card in hand I have to worry about. And his follow-up just would not be very existent. I guess he would get the Phoenix back, but that's just a big body. He tries to use Impulse here, which doesn't work because I don't have a card on field. So we have to go back. I already revealed the Maker. I really wish I had it because I would have played this very differently at that point. If I hadn't shown him that, and he showed me that, what I would have done next was just normal summon the Dragon, use the effect, grab Field Spell, grab Armor, and then Armor effect, and then hopefully he'll negate that there. But I could have played around this very, very well if this was Field Spell instead, because then I could have just Field Spell search for the Archfiend. Archfiend effect, flip over the Dragon, and this would have happened before I used an effect to special summon anything. New Chain, Archfiend 1, Princess 2, pop, bring out the flip over the Dragon, come back, bring out the Phoenix, and then try to special out Fairy, and then Impulse would negate the Fairy, and then we could go for Typhon, bounce that back, and he has nothing for follow-up other than the Hollowed, bring back, and the OSS, put back the Witch, grab Hydrant, which probably would have been enough, but we would have been in a much better position. So I'm just going to activate that because I already revealed it. Not much I can really do about that. So he's going to Impulse that. Now I normal summon out the Dragon. Dragon effect, grab the Field Spell. Yep. Field Spell effect, grab out the Slime. It's just another extender at this point because he has more monsters than me. And we're going to bring out both of these guys. Yep. So now he's going to use the whatchamacallit, the Princess effect. Now we're going to use the Fairy effect. We need another extender because that was the only interruption that really bothered me here. So he's going to use the Preventer, flip that down. And we're going to Anima take the Promethean. And I just thought about it. Beat over. Yep. Go for Typhon. And then here's where I just realized that no matter what I do, if I bounce back the Preventer, he just special the back out next turn. Bounce back the Hydrant, I can't even do that because it's protected. So there's just no way I can win at this point. I have no more interruptions on my side of the field. So I just gave up there. But yeah, so you can tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. But that was a very beatable board if Impulse was not the last card. It was so close. Okay, let's get into the next game. We're off against Van Puren. He was at 797, and I was at 645, so this was before the Rescue Ace duel. 60 cards against our 40. So opening hands, we got Room, Terraforming, Emperor, Maker, and Fairy. And he has Engraver, Meta Noise, Rhino Heart, Terraforming, and Keldo. So we're going to start off the Maker. When he's on 60 cards, I'm usually not playing around hand traps too much. The odds that they're going to open anything that's too crazy is really low. And usually it's like an all gas deck that would be on 60 cards, like Branded or Branded Tier. That Thunder Dragon Bestial list that was floating around when the ban list first came out, and Colossus came off the list, or went to 2 or 3, I don't remember. So usually there's not that many hand traps. So we're going to reveal the Dragon and the Archfiend, guaranteed hit, no matter what. Flip over the Dragon, give us the Dragon, and now we can go for Throne. Throne effect, grab the Master, and then Master's going to search us for Dragon. We're trying to go as far as possible without revealing the other cards in our hand. Normal summon the Dragon. Dragon effect, grab a Maker for follow-up. We already have Room, we already have access to the field spell. So now we're going to activate the field spell. Easy effect, gonna grab out a Archfiend. We already have an Extender, so we want something good to put on the opponent's side of the field. So I think about what I wanted to do. Because I don't need to go for Giant here, because I already have everything. So we're going to put the Archfiend on their side, use the Fairy effect, and then we're just going to link those off right away. For the IP, no reason to burn a Giant search. I already have follow-up in the Maker we already grabbed, and we have all the interruptions that we would typically have. So we're just going to pass it on back. He's going to draw Fenrir. Cool. Archfiend. First action. Sure. He's going to discard the Keldo. Meta Noise doesn't do... Yeah, it doesn't do anything because that adds from the graveyard. And the Rhino Heart doesn't have... I think that's just in the monster. I don't know, you could have... Yeah, he could have sent Rhino Heart and then sent the Meta Noise to bring it back. And then started playing from there. But he chooses not to. We draw into Imperm, not the hand trap we want to see. To be fair, the only hand trap in the list that would be alive at this point would be Ash Blossom. We already have a card engraved for the Shifter. We have cards on field for the Mulcharming, and cards on field for the Imperm in hand. So Ash would have been the only live option. He's sent that instead of a tier name, but this is the only deck I could ever think of that would be on the Shufflers and on 60. So I'm going to assume that he didn't have a name in hand. Otherwise he would have sent the name and gotten free value from there. So I would assume everything in his hand is normal summon that he needs to do. Or his main playmaker is a normal summon. So I'm just going to use the Room to lock him out of the normal summon rather than wait. So he's going to activate Terraforming. Terraforming, search for a Pearlirino. Activate that. I just let the search go off. Not too much of a reason to throw and put that back. We don't have lethal on next turn, so no real reason to give him that back and just be able to use it again later. So he's going to activate the Sharon. We're going to chain the IP because I'm going to assume that he's going to send a name, and I want to be able to banish the name so he doesn't get a fusion play. Because the deck doesn't have very many extenders, like the core list. For tier elements, it's only Sharon and the Cash Terra one. And I suppose Havness when you activate a card or effect. But he didn't activate that, so we're safe there. You can't really play around these too much because they're all one-ofs, because they're all limited. So just playing around stuff in 60 that are one-ofs just kind of too much. You'd be too cautious. So we're going to chain the SP to the Rhino. And then it has to special summon before it sends, so it's not going to get the send. He's going to chain the Shuffler first, because he doesn't want to lose it. I'm not too sure why I did that. Oh, because he's going to get the pop off Pearl Rhino. That's why. It's been like a day and a half since I've actually done these duels. So it's just kind of hard to remember. So now he's going to get the pop effect. He's going to go for the dungeon. If he went for anything else, I could have SP'd to get out of the way. And the Master doesn't care, because he has a set card and I have Throne. But I do care about keeping the dungeon, so I'm going to Throw and put that back. So I could have avoided all this by just doing this initially, but now I have more hand knowledge, so I'm not as worried as I would have been. I still going to Engraver effect here. That's fine by me. I grab the track effect, add the Lurie, discard the Lurie, then Lurie's going to trigger, summon out. I could SP banish the Sharon so he doesn't have any options to get rid of it by a card effect. I'm basically going to go for the Requiem effect, bring out the last Fiendsmith. Kind of surprised he's not on the, what's her name? The new 4. I mean, he's on 60. Like, I kind of feel like he'd be on that. You got the room. And then he's going to use the Requiem effect to attach. And here we're going to chain the SP because this is going to force something. Yep, get rid of that. Now we can use the other Requiem Engrave. The other Engraver engrave, put back the Lurie. Special out. And now you can go for Retract. But we have the Imperm that's set still. So we're still good there. Negate that. There's still 2 unknowns in hand. But he can't normal summon. So, like, you don't gotta be too worried about stuff like that. Just gonna go for End Phase. SP is gonna resolve, bringing back the Engraver itself. We're gonna draw to return the dungeon, so I could have let the dungeon go, and we would have been fine. But that would have also opened up the door for him to tribute summon the Fenrir. Fenrir grab the Tier Cache, and then maybe hit Mills off of that. He also has the Meta Noise set that doesn't do anything because he doesn't control a Tier Elements monster. So let's go to main phase 1. We're going to start with the dungeon. Grab back the Archfiend, flip over the Slime. And then we're going to Slime get the Dragon. And Dragon's just going to grab another room. Because we already have everything else. We have the follow-up in dungeon. We already have a Maker. If we really want to get to another Maker, we can just Giant grab a Maker. And now we're going to overlay for the Giant. And he's going to give up from there. He's in a very bad spot at this point. 2, he's going to choose to go first. Opening hands, we have Maker, evenly matched, Archfiend, Maker, and Furos. So this card's very good against her. Because they don't have, what's the little one? The fusion that's banned for them. That's how you would typically play around Maxi in Master Duel. But you just go for that and then set the trap. And then you can mill 8 on your opponent's turn. And then hopefully play from there on your opponent's turn. But they don't have access to that anymore, so now they gotta commit a little bit more. So it's probably still only like 2 or 3 draws. So they have Scream, King Sark, Tier Cache, King Sark, and Triple Attack. So he's gonna go main phase 1. Actually, the King Sark, he's gonna send King Sark, send out Happy bring out. Then he's gonna King Sark again, send the Scream, which will let him grab a trap. And he's gonna, actually no, it's send by cost. My brain just ain't working. He's gonna send Glory. Glory's gonna special summon, and then here I'm gonna activate the Malcharmy because this is where you're either gonna summon out the number 90. I think it's number 90, the Monster Negate, or go for Vampire. So he's going to draw into Rhinoheart and another Scream, so very good for him. Finally finds his engine. So nice to think about it, he's going to activate the Scream. Think. I choose to send off the Rhino Heart with the King Sark. I don't think that's correct. I think I'm just going to give him the one draw and get this mill 3 and send and get a little bit more set up. That's just going to bring out the... I'm not going to try to say that. I think it's just going to pass on that. So this just completely dies to evenly matched. So that's good for us. That's where it's going to go main phase 1, go to battle phase, and then activate the evenly. He's going to keep the Scream because his last card in hand is the Kashtira. That's what you would keep no matter what. You already went through another one of your King Sarks, and most of your names are gone. I would assume the only other name left is the Glories. If he's on all 4, I'd be extremely surprised. So the Scream makes the most sense for whatever the top deck is. You can sort of infer that it might be Kashtira tier elements in hand, but it's the only card that makes sense at all to keep, so you can't really infer too much about that. So next we're going to go main phase 2, activate the Maker. We're just going to reveal an Archfiend and a Slime. If I hit the Archfiend, I get to take away the last card in hand, and we find out if it's a tier name or not. And then if it's Slime, I just get a crazy amount of advantage. So we're just going to force the last card in hand so I can know if I can play. And he's going to chain it, because otherwise he's going to lose it. We're going to draw into an Ash. Very good. He's going to get a mill 6. Yeah, he's going to get a mill 6 here. So out of 50. Milling about 10% of your deck. Might hit something, might not. So he's going to mill. We see that he hits a Thrust, Tract, Field Spell, Salvation, Field Spell, and a Horse. So he has one more Field Spell in deck for the Bridge of Salvation. And he didn't hit anything that would trigger. So really good on our side. And we do have the Ash Blossom for the Bridge of Salvation. So we're just going to keep going. We're going to overlay, go for Giant effect, grab out the Dungeon. Activate Dungeon, grab the Fairy. Normal out the Dragon effect, grab the Room. We're going to Fairy Special Summon. Yep. And then we're going to special out the Throne effect, summon out the Master. Yep. Master effect, grab a Dragon. For follow-up, and we're going to Slime special out to their side of the field. Set the Room. Set the Maker. And then I decide to use the Giant to pop the Scream, because all he's going to get is a trap card off of it, which doesn't do anything. At least not by itself. So we're going to pop that. I'm more worried about him drawing the other 2 Rhino Hearts in his deck than I am of him drawing a Sheeran, the one of Sheeran. So he's going to use that effect, grab the Solic. And then I just decide to link off the Giant and the Master, because we do have the follow-up at this point. And I have Room set, so, and I have the Ash for the guaranteed Bridge of Salvation. We're just going to go SP, we're going to banish the Kashtira tier elements. That way he has no way of getting a mill of 2 more. And if he doesn't draw into another name, the Sulk's going to be dead. I go end phase. He just lets it go. He doesn't use the Bridge of Salvation in end phase, which you definitely should, because that takes out 2 dead draws. Like if he draws into Field Spell, then I'm assuming this is dead. He might play a one of the Horse Field Spell, but the worst part would be that the dead draw of Tortoise, Crystal Beast Tortoise, would still be in there, and you could just draw that, and then everything's dead. But he's going to draw for turn. He's going to get Tribute Karma, so absolutely no plays there. He's going to activate the Bridge of Salvation, and then I just Ash that, and he gives up. He sees what the next draw was. It was going to be a Keldo. I might draw again. Yeah, my next draw was going to be an Ash. So we were going to be sitting good, no matter what, for a few turns. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys again in 2 to 3 days ish. I have an exam on Friday that I need to do a little bit of studying for. But other than that, I appreciate you guys for watching. If you liked it, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you for episode 4. We're going to say Friday. Definitely not Saturday because I'll be at local Saturday. But thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.